Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Rupedia world, and I am Abhinay Gupta. So today again we are continuing with the topic, the winding up, right? And when we are talking about this chapter, please remember that we are referring to all the provisions from the Companies Act 1956. The sections that we are referring to belongs to the Companies Act 1956 and not the Companies Act 2013, right? Which is the latest Companies Act that we follow, right? So, in this chapter today, we will pick up the new topic, which is Section 10, Jurisdiction of the Court to Order Winding Up. Now, when you talk about the jurisdiction of the court, what court do you refer to? Which court are we talking about? Can the winding up proceedings be conducted in any court? The creditor wants to come up with a proceeding of winding up, they want to file a petition. Will he go to any court that is next to his house? No. There's a procedure for that, right? Now, which will be the court? Basically, understand, winding up is not a general issue, right? It is not a general concern that okay, you come up and you file a petition and the company loses, company pays off the penalty. No, that is not the situation. If the company loses the winding up petition, if that goes against the company will be, that will be the end of the company. The company will be gone forever. So that is a crucial decision, right? So first of all, one thing you should understand that these decisions are generally not supposed to be taken by the subordinate district level court and stuff. But since there are a lot of companies, you also cannot approach Supreme Court at every time. So whom do you basically approach? Which the court that also has an authority, right? Plus the strength of the number of courts at that level should be enough to control all the companies. Right? So basically, with the discussion, we understand that High Court would be the appropriate court. So if I ask you which court will have the jurisdiction for the case of winding up, then you will say it's the High Court. Right? Now, can any High Court take up the proceeding? The company established, it's situated in Delhi, right? It is registered with the ROC of Delhi, Haryana. The registered office is in Delhi for the past 3 years, right? But one of its supplier is from Chennai, right? And for example, if the company is not able to pay the debt of the supplier and the supplier wants to file a petition for compulsory winding up, will the supplier go to the Chennai High Court or the Telangana High Court? No. They will have to file a petition in the High Court of that region where the registered office of the company is situated, right? Because that High Court has a jurisdiction over the registered office place of the company. One thing. Okay, we understood one thing, right? Now the question is, which place would you consider the place of registered office? I'll give you a case now. So for example, the company was incorporated in 2011, right, under Delhi Haryana registrar with the registered office in Delhi. It continued in Delhi for 5 years. That means up to the beginning or up to the middle of 2015, the company had its registered office in Delhi, right? Now, due to some issues or due to the convenience, since the major business of the company was in Uttar Pradesh, right, the company shifted its registered office just for the convenience sake, right? So now you consider this case that from September 2015, the registered office of the company, right, is your Uttar Pradesh, right? In any district in Uttar Pradesh, let's say Noida or anything, there is the registered office of the company, right? So from September, they continued with that location, that UP location, up to January 2016. So after next 5 months, suppose there was any other situation, hypothetical example, right? This is a hypothetical example that doesn't generally happen, but suppose the company shifts the registered office to Himachal Pradesh now. So from the beginning of February, the registered office is in Himachal Pradesh, right? Now in the month of March, right, consider it to be the end of March, no problem. The creditor wants to file a petition. where should it go? Should it go to the High Court of Himachal Pradesh? Should it go to the High Court of Uttar Pradesh? Should it go to the High Court of Delhi, Haryana? Where? Which High Court? It had its registered office. If you talk about the longest period, it is Delhi, Haryana. If you talk about the latest period, it is Himachal Pradesh. If you talk about just the previous period, it is Uttar Pradesh. So high probability what you feel is either it is Delhi, Haryana or it is Himachal Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh is nowhere in scene, right? That is the basic assumption you'll make when you are when you're searching for your examination and you have not been through this provision. Then that is a general assumption that all the students will make, including me. If I am giving the exam over there and I have such situation in front of me, I would definitely go for any of these two options. But you know what? Uttar Pradesh is the right answer. Now you must be thinking how? Yeah, in the middle somewhere they were there for 5 months. So, you know what the provision says? When you're talking about the registered office for this section specifically, for the purpose of section 10, the registered office means the place which has longest been the registered office. That is not the end of the statement. When you talk about longest been the registered office, you go back to Delhi, right? That means that is not Himachal Pradesh for sure. But again the statement continues. Place which has the longest been the registered office of the company during the 6th month immediately preceding the presentation of the petition of the winding up. That means if the petition was presented in the month of March, then you calculate 6 months prior to that. That is complete March, February, January, December, November and October. So out of these 6 months, where was the head office for the longest period? It was in Uttar Pradesh. October, November, December and January. It shifted to Himachal only in the month of February. So Uttar Pradesh would be the right answer. So you will have to file the petition in the High Court of Uttar Pradesh. So that is a very important and the tricky question. You have not had any question such in your examination so far, but if the institute wants to test you on that, bet on that majority of the students will get the answer wrong if they have not been through the profession, right? So just remember, when we talk about the registered office, it means the place which has longest been the registered office of the company during the 6th month immediately preceding the presentation of the petition of winding up. Clear with that? So High Court of that region would be the court for winding up, the court that will have the jurisdiction for winding up. Clear with that for the first part, right? Now suppose there are so many small companies these days that just started up with a little bit of capital and could not go anywhere, right? Did not commence the business, for example, and the registrar wants to file a petition. So for example, a company came up with a capital of say 50,000 rupees and they did not commence the business, and registrar wants that company to be closed, right? To whom will the registrar go? To the High Court? Obviously that is what we have seen. The jurisdiction is with the High Court. But if a numerous number of such companies, like nowadays you see startup, the concept of startup has come up. Everybody gets a company registered, and if nothing gets commenced, the registrar will file a petition for winding up. Don't you think High Court will be overloaded with that? With small petty issues, small companies? So now there's a bandwidth that has been fixed. So all the companies which have a paid up share capital of less than rupees 1 lakh, the jurisdiction would be conferred on the district court which is subordinate to that High Court, the High Court that we have been talking about, right? So district court which is the subordinate of that High Court can have the jurisdiction on the companies that have the paid up share capital of less than rupees 1 lakh, right? So now what are the two conclusions that you have drawn from the entire explanation that I have given so far? Number one, that the High Court having jurisdiction in relation to the place at which the registered office of the company is situated will have the jurisdiction on the winding up, right? 2. Now what does again the jurisdiction mean? means that any district court which is subordinate to such high court, right, will also have the jurisdiction on the case of winding up if the company has a paid up share capital of less than rupees 1 lakh. That is the conclusion that we have drawn, right? And you know what do we mean when we talk about the registered office. Whom will we come? Which office would be considered to be the registered office for this purpose, right? So that is the general provision of section 10, jurisdiction of the court to order winding up, high court or the district court, right? And the entire case study is clear with you. Now if there is a case and the high court does not think that the case is of material importance, minute case, right, but it has qualified the red line of 1 lakh, so it is with the high court, and it is taking quite a number of sittings, right? It is stretching, it's taking time for the conclusion to be reached. So what can the high court do is, high court can again shift those particular cases, whatever the high court decides, to the subordinate district court as well, right? So the high court has the power to transfer of the winding up proceeding to the district court, right? Now, which district court? The district court which is subordinate to that high court only, right? Or otherwise that they can also transfer it to some other high court. For example, the creditor is at some other place, now the registered office is at some other place, but because in the past 6 months for the majority of period they had a registered office at the third place, that the court case is filed over there. So it is neither convenient for the members or the directors of the company nor the creditors to always be present at the high court over there. So what does the high court do now? High court will transfer it to the other high court wherever it deems fit. So that proceeding will now be transferred to some other high court, or even to the district court which is subordinate to that high court where you are transferring, and that will be done with the consent of that high court. So basically what you do is you will transfer it to the high court, and that high court will transfer it to the subordinate district court, and the problem is solved, right? So the proceedings can be transferred. Now this is the case that we have seen that they can pass on a case to some district court. Now if the high court does not consider district court to be efficient enough, okay, this is a particular typical kind of a case, and I don't think this district court will be able to handle the case. So what will the high court do? High court will withdraw that case from that district court, right, and then transfer the case to some other district court where the high court deems fit, right? So if it wants to transfer the case from one district court to another, right, then they will have to first withdraw the proceeding, and then either they can continue with it by themselves, the high court can continue with it by themselves, or can also pass on to some other district court which is subordinate to that high court, right? That is the answer for your next question, that is withdrawal and transfer of the proceeding. Now consider one more situation. There is this company that had a paid up share capital of rupees 2 lakhs, right, but somehow due to negligence or anything, the proceeding began in a district court. The registrar filed a petition in district court, and the proceeding began over there. Nobody checked the capital, they just knew by name that okay, it's a very small company, let it be. But the paid up share capital of that company exceeded 1 lakh. Maybe it's 1,10,000, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 10 lakh, 15 lakh, 1 CR, 2 CR, whatever it is, right? But if you go by the provision, then it is wrong. They can only go to the subordinate district court if the paid up share capital of the company is less than rupees 1 lakh. But over here there's a fault, there's a default. So what should the high court do? High court should take the proceeding with themselves, right? But over here there's one more power given to the high court, that if you want, you can let that proceeding be continued in that subordinate district court, right? So if the high court thinks fit, they're okay, even if it is with the district court, there is no problem with that, right? Then the high court may pass an order, okay, please continue with the proceedings, and then that proceeding will be justified. Otherwise that was wrong, that was above the bandwidth, and hence the district court was not allowed to do it. But since the high court is now giving it a permission to do it, it can go ahead with that, right? So that was a small section number 10, the jurisdiction of the court to order winding up, right? And I hope with the examples, the provisions of this section is clear to you now. Just remember, the first and foremost responsibility is with the High Court, but if the High Court thinks, then it can also transfer it to any other subordinate district court, or to any other High Court at some other state, or to the subordinate district court to that High Court with its permission. Right? And if it thinks that no, one district court is not being able to perform well, they can withdraw the case from that district court and give it to some other district court, or take it up by themselves. And the last position was that if by mistake some subordinate district court starts up a proceeding which was supposed to be done by the High Court, then High Court also has the power to let it continue with that district court. Okay, no problem, continue with it. Right? And just remember, when we talked about the registered office, the place where the place where the company had the registered office for the maximum period of time in the past 6 months only. Clear with that? So I hope this section is very clear to you. We did not have questions from this section in your examination so far, right? But yeah, this is one place from where you can have a case study, right? A typical case study which would go for a bouncer, right? So since we have no questions to discuss in this section, we'll wind up the section over here, and we'll pick up the next section, which is when we'll talk about the powers of the court and stuff in the next class, right? So until then, please stay tuned for the next lecture, and this is Abhinay Gupta signing off. Thank you. Bye bye.